Have you ever paused to think about what actually happens, the moment you click buy now on your favorite online store? Imagine a world where Amazon, Shopify, or even that charming little online boutique you love simply materialized out of thin air, seamless, secure, instant. But the truly fascinating truth is that behind every single click, every successful transaction, and every perfectly loaded page, well, there's an intricate digital architecture, a blueprint of strategic thinking, and a dedicated team of engineers who meticulously brought it all to life.
It's a remarkable illusion, isn't it? That perception of instant gratification in e-commerce. It often completely masks the incredible complexity just humming away underneath. What appears utterly effortless to you, the user, is in reality a marvel of sophisticated planning and precise execution.
That's such a crucial point because so many businesses, they just jump straight to building before they've truly defined their why. As we embark on this deep dive, let's unpack a fundamental truth. E-commerce doesn't just happen, it's engineered. From defining astute business models to implementing cutting-edge cybersecurity, the digital economy runs on strategic thinking, robust systems, and the incredibly talented people who know how to build them.
Exactly. And for anyone looking to make a mark in this space, that strategic thinking is what we really want to highlight today. It's not just about the tools themselves. It's about the whole thought process behind choosing and implementing them effectively.
And you're about to gain insights that could truly shape your career in the digital economy, especially if you're one of our BCIS 5379 students from Tarleton State University's Dr. Sam Pack College of Business tuning in. So, before we jump in, take just a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to the deep dive, maybe share this with a classmate or colleague. You'll find links to all the resources we discuss right down there in the description so you won't miss out on these insider tips. They really can position you for a bright future.
Yeah, definitely check those out. Today, our deep dive is specifically tailored to help you understand the technical and business considerations for creating and operating an electronically based business. We're aiming to prepare you to analyze various technologies, understand major trends, and maybe even implement your own e-commerce project. We're drawing rich insights from leading sources like Laudon and Traver's e-commerce 2023, Forbes' platform reviews, and critical security documents from the PCI Security Standards Council. Think of it as your guide, really, transforming an idea into a fully functioning, secure, and successful online venture.
Okay, let's unpack this. First major section, the vision and foundation. Imagining your e-commerce presence. Every truly successful e-commerce venture, from a tiny Etsy shop to a global marketplace, absolutely begins with a crystal clear vision. This isn't just about, throwing products online. It's about defining a problem you're solving or a unique value you're creating for your customers. It's knowing what you want your site to do for customers and for your business. And that vision, it has to be front and center from day one.
Absolutely. This foundational step is often underestimated, but it's where everything else stems from, truly. As Laudon emphasizes, identifying your business objectives, the desired system functionality, and what information you'll actually need. Doing that early, it profoundly shapes every single decision you make later on. For example, let's say your core business objective is offering highly customizable, made-to-order products, like personalized jewelry. Well, that immediately dictates specific system functionalities, right? You'll need an advanced product configurator tool and crucial information requirements, like real-time component inventory and precise production scheduling. Skipping or rushing this initial visioning phase, it's a common pitfall, almost always leads to significant rework and costly delays further down the line. So for your e-commerce project, ask yourself, what specific business problem are you solving? What must your system fundamentally achieve to deliver that solution?
Okay, building on that vision then, you absolutely need to figure out where's the money, your business and revenue models. And it's important to remember, like you said, this is distinct from your overall business strategy. We're talking specifically about how your e-commerce presence will generate cash flow. Think about a creator, for example, someone selling digital courses, maybe exclusive content, or a paid newsletter. Forbes specifically highlights platforms like Squarespace for their excellence in supporting paywalled content and blog monetization. That offers a direct, clear revenue stream for that type of business.
Right. And a key takeaway here for anyone embarking on their own e-commerce project is this. The choice of your e-commerce platform isn't just about having a place to list products, not at all. It's fundamentally about enabling your chosen revenue model. So if your strategy relies on a subscription service, you must select a platform that seamlessly supports recurring billing and subscriber management. It has to. If you're mainly going to rely on transaction fees, say for a marketplace model, well, you'll scrutinize those platform costs very differently, won't you? This ties directly into that skill outcome we mentioned. Selecting appropriate e-commerce business models to address a specific business problem. You're not just putting products online, you're strategically setting up how you're going to get paid. Your technology choices need to reflect that.
Makes perfect sense. And once you know what you're selling and how you'll make money, the next crucial piece of the puzzle is who you're selling to. So why is understanding who and where is the target audience so fundamentally critical, even for the technical decisions? And what are some common pitfalls if you get this wrong?
That's a fantastic question. Getting this wrong can absolutely derail an otherwise brilliant idea. Knowing your customer is just paramount. It influences everything. The color scheme, the tone of your fight, even the technical architecture you choose. Take mobile users, for example. Sources like Kinsta consistently point out they're generally less patient, right? Often browsing on the go, preferring bite-sized content that's easy to digest quickly. This has massive implications for your mobile design choices. It dictates things like image optimization, navigation hierarchy, even content length. Or, say your target market is primarily in Europe. You might specifically look at platforms like PrestaShop, which Forbes notes is tailored for those regional needs. You'd be thinking about local payment gateways, language support, regulatory requirements, all that stuff. If you design a site mainly for desktop users but find out 80% of your audience comes from mobile, you've fundamentally misallocated your resources and created a poor user experience. So yeah, characterizing your marketplace directly feeds into effective user experience, UX design, and those critical mobile optimization strategies.
Right. Okay, so before you can truly engineer your success, you need to know your own blueprint. That means looking inward and outward with a critical eye. And for that, there's really no better tool than a thorough SWOT analysis, knowing yourself. What should we be looking for when we assess our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in the market?
A comprehensive SWOT analysis is absolutely crucial. It really is. Laudon's figure 4.1 illustrates this well. You have the internal factors, strengths and weaknesses, and the external ones, opportunities and threats. This analysis helps you refine your strategy, understand where you might need to maybe outsource or focus your own development efforts. For instance, a strength might be a highly experienced in-house marketing team. Great. But a weakness could be a lack of specialized cybersecurity expertise. That's a gap. An opportunity, maybe an emerging market segment for your products. A threat could be aggressive competition or changing regulations. This isn't just, a theoretical exercise. It's a practical tool. It helps you identify where your existing staff excels and where external partnerships might be essential. So if you're building an open card store for your project, but you lack strong hosting expertise, well, partnering with a robust provider like Scala Hosting, which OpenCart actually recommends, becomes a smart strategic move. It helps you decide whether to build in-house or outsource, which is a key skill outcome for you developing your e-business proposals.
Okay, so you've solidified the vision, the revenue strategy, audience understanding, internal capabilities. Now it's time to move from abstract ideas to concrete plans, mapping the journey and budgeting for success. You need to visualize your e-commerce presence across all its different channels. Laudon's figure 4.2 shows this e-commerce presence map, web, mobile, social media, even offline channels, how they need to integrate cohesively. And critically, you need a detailed timeline, clear milestones, like those laid out in Laudon's table 4.1.
Exactly. And here's where many businesses get a harsh reality check. Budgeting. Latin emphatically points out that maintenance costs, they can be staggering. Maybe 50% to 100% of your initial development costs annually. This isn't a one-time build-and-forget expense. No way. It's a continuous investment driven by constant changes in technology, ongoing debugging, security updates, feature enhancements, just to stay competitive. Many businesses and students planning their projects, they significantly underestimate this long-term operational cost. Failing to factor this into your e-business proposal, that could lead to scope creep, resource depletion, and ultimately an unsustainable venture. Understanding these long-term financial implications is just crucial for developing a robust long-term e-commerce strategy.
Okay, so you've got your vision mapped out, your strategies in place, budgets estimated. Now, how do you actually build this thing? That leads us into our next major section, building systematically, the e-commerce development journey. And at the heart of this, the systems development lifecycle, SDLC. A structured approach. E-commerce development is, let's face it, a complex beast. Trying to tackle it without a systematic approach, well, it's like trying to build a skyscraper without blueprints, or navigate a ship without a compass. You're eventually going to hit something, right?
Indeed. The SDLC is precisely that blueprint and compass, especially for large-scale projects. Laudon breaks it down into 5 major steps: systems analysis, system design, building the system, testing the system, and finally implementation, maintenance, and optimization. Each step is critical, and they build upon one another. It's sequential, but also iterative sometimes. For instance, systems analysis. That's where you take those business objectives, system functionalities, and information requirements we talked about earlier and formally define them, get them down on paper. Then system design translates these into a logical design. That describes the abstract information flow, the processing rules. And then a physical design, which specifies the actual hardware components, servers, software architecture, network links. It's like moving from abstract ideas about how a building should function to drawing detailed architectural plans and then specifying every beam, pipe, and wire. This structured approach is just invaluable for you as you analyze available technologies and prepare to implement your own e-commerce project.
Right. So once you understand that structured approach, you face a pretty big decision. Building versus outsourcing. Strategic choices. Merchants have a whole spectrum of options here, don't they? And each comes with its own trade-offs. You can do everything completely in-house with your own teams, your own infrastructure, or you can fully outsource to specialized firms or cloud services. Laudon's figures 4.7 and 4.8 illustrate this whole spectrum pretty well. What's amazing is how services like Wix and Squarespace have truly democratized website creation. They've made it significantly easier and cheaper for small businesses to create robust online presences, often including hosting. This really lowers the technical skill barrier for entry.
Absolutely. And this choice between building and outsourcing, it's a critical component for your e-business proposals. Let's look at a couple of case studies from Laudon. The Wix makes creating websites easy example. It shows how platforms like Wix streamline the process, makes website creation inexpensive, straightforward for small businesses. But that ease often comes with drawbacks, right? Like limited customization options or maybe less control over the underlying code. On the other hand, you have specialized outsourcing, like the Bolt one-click checkout case study. This shows how specific business problems can be solved by external experts. Bolt aims to reduce those staggering cart abandonment rates. Up to 75% on desktop, a whopping 85% on mobile. They do this by providing a shared shopper accounts network across different merchants. This highlights how outsourcing can be a highly strategic solution for very particular pain points. Allows merchants to leverage expert pre-built solutions instead of investing vast resources developing everything from scratch. For you, this helps evaluate different hardware and software platforms, weighing the costs, benefits, and strategic implications of each approach for your specific business problem.
Okay, so whether you build it yourself, outsource parts, or use an all-in-one platform, there's one phase you absolutely cannot skimp on, and that's the crucial phase. Testing the system. This is just non-negotiable. You need to ensure a functional, reliable, and ultimately successful e-commerce site. Laudon emphasizes different types of testing. Unit testing for individual modules, system testing for the site as a whole, like simulating typical user navigation, and acceptance testing. That's where key personnel verify that the business objectives are actually being met by the complete system.
Yeah, the stakes here are incredibly high. ConvertCart research indicates over 98% of visitors often drop off an e-commerce site without buying. That's huge. And a big chunk of that is due to user experience issues, bugs, slow loading, broken links, stuff like that. That's a massive potential loss. Thorough testing for seamless functionality is vital to catch these issues before they impact your actual customers and your bottom line. I remember a client, they launched a new product, huge anticipation. But a small bug in the checkout flow, only on one specific browser, meant hundreds of abandoned carts, lost sales on launch day. Easily preventable with proper testing. Tools like BrowserStack offer comprehensive testing automated, manual validation on real devices, real browsers, ensures cross-browser compatibility performance, and SpeedLab can scrutinize and optimize page performance. It's about verifying that what you built not only works, but works flawlessly, delivering that smooth experience your customers expect.
Now, e-commerce development isn't stuck in the past with rigid, sequential processes, is it? Modern approaches are all about speed, collaboration, adaptability. That's where alternative development methodologies, embracing agility comes in. Agile development, for instance. It breaks large projects into smaller, manageable iterations, right? With continuous feedback loops, minimizes risk, allows teams to adapt quickly to evolving requirements or market shifts.
Exactly. And building on that, you have DevOps. It emphasizes seamless collaboration between development and operations teams. The aim is faster, more reliable releases, continuous integration. It's about breaking down those traditional organizational silos, ensuring the people building the system and the people running the system are working hand in hand, not just throwing things over the wall to each other. Laudon also mentions microservices and service-oriented architectures. These enable modular development and scalability, which means you can update or replace specific parts of a system independently without affecting the entire application. That's a huge advantage for complex e-commerce platforms that need to evolve constantly.
A great example of this collaborative, agile approach is highlighted in the Figma case study. Figma. It's a collaborative web application for UI design. It facilitates incredible real-time collaboration between designers and developers. This not only speeds up design iterations, allowing teams to quickly prototype, get feedback, but it also streamlines the handoff to development. Surprisingly, it accelerates the web development process itself. This focus on iterative design, continuous improvement, cross-functional teamwork. It's a far cry from the old waterfall method, and absolutely essential for modern e-commerce success. Okay, so we've journeyed through this systematic approach to building. Now let's talk about the actual nuts and bolts, the digital engine room, choosing the right tools, software and hardware platforms. First, you need to think about your e-commerce architecture, simple versus multi-tiered. The complexity of your site's architecture really depends on its functional requirements and, well, how much you anticipate scaling up.
This is a fundamental strategic decision for any e-commerce project. Really think this through. A simple two-tier architecture, like Laudon describes, might just involve a web server directly interacting with a customer. Straightforward. Can work for very basic, low-traffic sites. But for anything with more complex functionalities, like dynamic page generation based on user preferences, handling diverse transaction types, integrated with back-end enterprise systems and inventory management, CRM, for those, a multi-tier architecture becomes essential. It adds layers like application servers and databases between the web server and the customer. This distributes the workload, enhances security, provides robustness for growth. So for you, carefully consider your business problem. If you're planning a robust e-commerce solution needing real-time inventory updates and personalized user experiences, you'll almost certainly need a multi-tier approach to handle those operational and technological demands.
Okay, moving to the software side. The web server software and its core functionalities. This is the backbone of your online store, isn't it? It's not just about showing static web pages. It's a powerhouse, handles incoming HTML, XML requests, provides essential security services like encryption, manages file transfers for things like product images, powers internal search functions, captures crucial customer data, handles email communications like order confirmations, and offers robust site management tools.
Yeah, these core functionalities are absolutely non-negotiable for a professional e-commerce presence. Without a reliable, secure web server, your entire digital storefront would just grind to a halt. Simple as that. It's the foundational layer ensuring your business is always open, always responsive, able to perform its basic tasks securely and efficiently. Understanding these fundamental services helps you evaluate the reliability and capabilities of potential hosting environments for your project.
All right, now this next topic. This is where many aspiring e-commerce entrepreneurs spend a lot of time. E-commerce merging server software platforms. Your digital storefront choices. What are the big players? How do they differ? How do we even begin to sort through them for our e-commerce project?
That's a great question, because the landscape is incredibly diverse. And the right choice truly depends on your strategic driver, your specific needs. Forbes' 10 Best E-commerce Platforms of 2025 gives us a fantastic overview. Let's try to synthesize the key insights here. Okay, first up, you have the all-in-one SaaS software as a service solutions. Think of these as your ready-to-go managed storefronts. Shopify is often the go-to if you prioritize a massive app ecosystem like 8,000 plus integrations and a quick launch. Especially good for SMBs aiming for enterprise growth. Widely recognized. But you got to watch those transaction fees if you use third-party payment processors, and checkout capacity can be tied to your plan. BigCommerce, on the other hand, is really the powerhouse for pure scalability. Supports multiple storefronts, and crucially, no transaction fees from them. Robust enough for enterprise-level growth, even if its builder isn't always the flashiest or most intuitive. Wix stands out as maybe the best generalist platform. Strong, user-friendly website builder, especially for the non-selling parts of your site. Offers 2 different builders for design flexibility. Squarespace, champion for creators and paywalls. Robust blog monetization, very beginner-friendly interface, plus POS integration on every plan. Just watch for potential multiple transaction fees on some plans and maybe limited video storage. Aquid is ideal if you want to embed a store into an existing website. It's PCI DSS certified, intuitive, offers over 70 payment options. Its free plan used to offer more, now it's about 5 months with product limits. Square Online is, unsurprisingly, best for businesses with a strong in-person selling component. Integrates seamlessly with Square POS, offers a free but limited plan, though all plans have transaction fees. Okay, then you have the open source solutions. These offer ultimate control, but definitely demand more technical know-how. OpenCart is highlighted as the best open source solution. Free software you just pay for hosting, and they partner with Scala Hosting for optimized options. Boasts over 13,000 third-party extensions, including like 1,368 payment gateways. Incredible flexibility to trade off. A steeper learning curve.
PrestaShop is another strong open-source contender, particularly popular for European brands. They offer hosted plans with some one-on-one help, but users should always be cautious about billing concerns during trials. Always read the fine print. And finally, there are more niche or simplified solutions. Big Cartel is best for simple stores. Low-cost mobile apps for management, but have quite low product limits. So good for artists, small craft businesses maybe. Shift4Shop is known for its e-commerce SEO tools. Lots of technical SEO features available, though customer support can sometimes be, let's say, inconsistent.
Wow, that's a fantastic overview, a real shortcut to understanding the landscape. Thanks. So when students are planning their e-commerce projects, what are the absolute most critical factors they should consider when weighing these different platforms?
Absolutely. When choosing among these, several key factors come into play, consistently highlighted by Forbes and Laudon. Ease of use is paramount, right? Especially for small businesses or students without dedicated tech support. Platforms like Ecwid, Squarespace, Wix usually score highly here. Open source like OpenCart, steeper learning curve. Features and functionality must align perfectly with your specific business needs. Do you need advanced paywalls, robust in-person sales integration, complex scalability? App and tools integration is crucial for extending functionality. Shopify, with its 8,000-plus options, is a prime example of a strong ecosystem there. Customization and scalability are huge. How much control do you need over your site's appearance? How well will it grow with your business? BigCommerce is often praised for scalability. Shopify, though, can present customization difficulties needing professional help sometimes. And you absolutely cannot overlook stability and reliability. Costly downtime is a real, terrifying threat. New Relic data suggests retail businesses can lose an average of $1.1 million per hour during an outage. Even SMBs around $25,000 per hour. Ouch. Finally, thoroughly understand the pricing and transaction fees. Are hosting and domains included? What's the quality of customer and technical support? BigCommerce, for example, offers 24/7 live chat phone support. That's a significant differentiator compared to Shopify's more limited phone support on lower plans. This whole rigorous selection process directly supports those skill outcomes, selecting appropriate hardware and software solutions, thoroughly evaluating different platforms for a given business problem. It's not just picking, it's strategizing.
Okay, once you've picked your software platform, you need to house it somewhere. That brings us to choosing hardware, right sizing for demand. Your hardware platform has to perfectly match your anticipated user demand and the type of content you plan to host. Gotta ensure optimal performance. This isn't a one-size-fits-all situation you just guess at, is it?
No, absolutely not. Laudon's Table 4.5 clearly lays out the critical factors. You need to estimate your expected simultaneous users. Understand your customer profiles. Are they viewing dynamic content that changes for each user, or mostly static pages? And consider the nature of your content itself. If your site features large multimedia files, high-res product videos, 3D models, you'll naturally require much more processing power, memory, storage capacity than, say, a text-heavy blog. It's a direct correlation. What you offer dictates what your hardware needs to provide reliably. For your e-commerce project, grossly underestimating these needs. That leads to slow load times, frustrated customers, directly impacting your success.
So, you've built your perfectly sized system, but what happens when you hit it big? Demand explodes. You can't just cross your fingers. That's where scaling comes in, right? Making sure your digital storefront doesn't collapse under the weight of a sudden viral TikTok trend. And there are a couple of key ways to tackle this, aren't there?
Absolutely. Our sources, particularly Laudon Tables 4.6 and 4.7, highlight two main approaches: vertical and horizontal scaling. Think of vertical scaling like upgrading your existing card to a more powerful engine. You're increasing the power and capacity of individual components, adding more RAM, a faster processor to a single server. It's powerful, sure, but it can get expensive quickly, and you eventually hit a ceiling. Plus, if that one super powerful server fails, your entire site goes down. Single point of failure, not good. The alternative, horizontal scaling, is more like adding more cars to your fleet. Instead of one powerful server, you add multiple, often cheaper computers to share the workload. This is often more cost-effective and inherently more resilient. If one machine fails, others can seamlessly pick up the slack. However, it does require specialized load balancing software to intelligently distribute incoming requests among all those servers. Then there's improving processing architecture, which is kind of a mix of both scaling methods and more fundamental system design changes. The key takeaway here for you is that scalability is a critical business issue. Firms must be able to efficiently and cost-effectively increase the size of their sites as demand increases. That directly relates to evaluating different hardware and software platforms. You need a strategy for growth baked into your architecture from the start.
All right, with our foundational vision, systematic build approach, and platform choices in mind, let's pivot. Let's make sure customers actually enjoy their time on your site and can easily find what they're looking for. This is all about enhancing the user experience, design, SEO, and personalization. It starts with the absolute basics: website design, fundamentals for success. And effective design, after all, goes far beyond just looking pretty. It's about prioritizing that user experience above all else.
Absolutely. As our sources, like Laudon, clearly show, customers get turned off really quickly by common annoyances, things that drive them away, like poor navigation that makes finding products a chore, painfully slow loading times, or distracting, cluttered graphics. We've all seen sites like that. Conversely, Laudon's Table 4.9 outlines the 8 most important success factors: impeccable functionality, quick loads, correct performance, crystal clear informational clarity, exceptional ease of use, simple, intuitive navigation, maybe redundant paths so users can always find their way, ease of purchase as few clicks as possible, multi-browser functionality, simple graphics that don't distract, and legible text. Seems basic but crucial. So for you designing your e-commerce project, proper and intuitive navigation, especially for finding products and completing a purchase. As BrowserStack notes, it's not just design aesthetics. It is a critical business function, directly impacts conversion rates, customer satisfaction, and ultimately your revenue.
Okay, once your site looks good, functions well, people actually need to find it. That's where mastering search engine optimization, SEO, for e-commerce becomes critical. Your e-commerce presence needs to be discoverable by potential customers. And increasingly, that means thoroughly optimizing for mobile devices, given how many people shop on their phones now.
Yeah, ConvertKart provides a wealth of practical mobile SEO strategies. Really useful stuff. For instance, optimizing your site's internal search functionality. That means not just having a search bar, but making it smart. It should provide helpful suggestions as shoppers type. And crucially, your algorithm needs to recognize synonyms, alternate spellings. If someone types sneakers, it should also show results for running shoes. Right? Makes sense? The search bar itself needs to be fully responsive, easy to use on a small screen. Then there's voice search optimization. It's becoming increasingly important. People are using more natural, long-tail keywords when speaking into their devices, like, where can I buy affordable running shoes in my size? You need to optimize for these conversational queries. Add descriptive alt text for images so they show up in image searches linked to voice. Maybe consider a clear voice search icon on your site.
Right. And beyond just search, creating truly mobile-friendly product pages is an absolute must. Think about linking related products in interactive carousels, using non-intrusive pop-ups that don't block the content, featuring product comparisons for easy decision-making, collapsible sections for details so users don't have to endlessly scroll, addressing common questions directly in descriptions like Ruggable does with those little icons summarizing product USPs. That significantly boosts engagement, lowers bounce rates, and for mobile-specific navigation, avoid confusing URL parameters. Implement canonical tags for filtered pages to prevent duplicate content issues. Use clean, descriptive URLs like shop women's shoe size 7 colored black, much better.
Definitely. Category page optimization is also distinct from mobile. User behavior is often different from desktop. Features like quick view buttons, infinite scroll, or load more buttons are essential for keeping mobile users engaged as they browse product listings. And crucially, structured data markup. Things like product schema for name, price, reviews, local business schema for near-me searches, breadcrumb schema for clear navigation paths. This is often overlooked for mobile, but it's vital for search engines to understand and present your content effectively. And here's a big one: page speed. This is a critical SEO factor. Mobile shoppers expect pages to load within, 2-3 seconds? Maybe less. Delays dramatically increase bounce rates, as both ConvertKart and Kinsta emphasize. It's huge. Finally, customizing your URLs, removing session IDs, tracking parameters ensures better indexing. And continuously tracking your mobile SEO results using tools like Google Search Console and Google Analytics, essential for ongoing improvement. This whole area directly supports you in recognizing key security issues, especially if mobile design is poor and data gets exposed, and developing appropriate e-business marketing strategies by ensuring your products are discoverable.
Okay, to really bring your site to life, keep users engaged, you need interactivity and active content. Dynamic elements enhance user engagement, but yeah, they need to be implemented carefully. We're talking about programming languages like JavaScript, powerful for controlling HTML page objects, adding animations, validating user input right in the browser, and other backend languages like active server pages, ASP, PHP, Ruby on Rails, Roar, Django, used for deeper dynamic content generation, back-end logic.
Yeah, the key consideration here, as Laudon points out, is security.
Languages and frameworks are constantly evolving, and security flaws, like those sometimes seen in Java, necessitate frequent patches, updates. This underscores a critical need for careful maintenance, rigorous updates in any dynamic environment. While interactivity undeniably improves the user experience, it also introduces potential vulnerabilities that must be meticulously managed. Secure coding practices, continuous patching. This is the vital aspect of assessing key security issues for your proposed business solution.
Now, to truly stand out in a crowded market, you need to engage with customers on an individual level. This is personalization and customization, tailoring the experience, treating each customer as an individual rather than just a number. It significantly enhances their experience and powerfully drives engagement, loyalty.
Right. This typically involves technologies like cookies to track prior browsing and purchase history, intelligent customer segmentation based on demographics or behavior, and individualized product recommendations based on what they've viewed or bought before. Laudon mentions specialized tools like Kibo, Matatate, Brilliance. Even Google Optimize offers free website customization based on visitor behavior. Imagine a shopper who frequently buys running shoes, seeing personalized recommendations for new models or accessories the moment they land on your site. That's powerful. These tools are absolutely vital for developing effective e-business marketing strategies and significantly improving conversion rates. Treating customers as individuals is paramount for e-commerce success today.
Finally, in a world of increasing data privacy concerns, we need to talk about the information policy set. Trust and accessibility. Commercial websites absolutely must clearly define their policies around data usage and user access. It's not just good practice, it's often a legal requirement.
A robust, clearly worded privacy policy is paramount. It informs customers exactly how their personal information is collected, stored, used. Builds trust. And trust is the bedrock of any online relationship. Equally important are accessibility rules. These ensure that disabled users, visually impaired, hearing impaired, other challenges can effectively access and interact with your site. This includes providing equivalent alternatives for visual and sound content, like descriptive alt text for images or transcripts for videos. As Laudon highlights in the Designing for Accessibility case, several legal decisions underscore the critical importance of accessibility, not just best practice, but a legal and ethical imperative. For you evaluating your e-business solution, this means considering the legal, ethical, social, and political issues surrounding data privacy and inclusive design right from the very start.
All right, let's dive into a topic that's no longer optional, but absolutely central to e-commerce success: mastering mobile, websites, and applications. Given the ever-growing mobile traffic, planning and building a mobile presence now demands a mobile-first imperative. This isn't just a suggestion anymore, it's practically a rule of thumb.
It truly represents a critical shift in mindset for modern design and development. Yeah. Mobile-first design flips the traditional approach. You focus on optimizing for mobile constraints, first small screens, potentially slower connections, touch interfaces, and then you progressively enhance the experience for larger desktops. Kinsta explains this process, while sometimes challenging for designers used to desktop-first workflows, forces you to create lean, efficient, user-centric designs. It's essential because, as ConvertCart noted, that 98% drop-off rate. A huge portion of those issues originate on mobile. For your e-commerce project, prioritizing mobile design directly addresses that skill outcome of assessing key security issues. Ensuring fundamental design choices prioritize performance, usability, data security on the primary access channel for many users. If your mobile experience is clunky, you're just losing customers. Simple as that.
Okay, so once you embrace that mobile-first mindset, you need to understand the mobile presence. Key design considerations. Different mobile technologies offer distinct advantages, trade-offs. Choosing the right one for your business is crucial.
Laudon's Table 4.0 and 4.1, along with Kinsta's insights, help us break these down. A mobile web app runs right in a mobile browser, mimics native apps using web tech like HTML5, JavaScript, faster than a purely static mobile website, but not as quick as a native app. Can sometimes be geo-sensitive. A native app is custom designed for a specific OS, iOS, Android, uses their native programming languages. Compiled into binary code, executes extremely fast, ideal for games, complex, highly interactive applications needing deep device integration. Then you have hybrid apps. They combine a native container allowing access to device APIs like the camera or gyroscope with web technologies like HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript for the content. They can be packaged as an app for app stores. Offers a balance between native performance and web development ease. And for mobile websites, you have two primary design approaches. Responsive web design, or RWD, uses one single layout that flexibly adjusts, reflows its content to fit any screen size, uses CSS media queries, breakpoints, Kinsa gives examples like Lost Sundays, Slam Jam, seamless for users, but if not carefully optimized, can sometimes be slow on mobile if it's loading too much unnecessary desktop stuff. Conversely, Adaptive Web Design, AWD, uses multiple predetermined layouts designed for specific device parameters. Amazon and Ryanair are examples. This approach can offer faster load times, highly tailor-made experiences for specific devices, often good for retrofitting existing sites. Choosing between RWD and AWD, it depends heavily on your target audience's needs. Your specific use case, maybe an ArtPrint's website needs large screens, favoring a desktop-first adaptive approach, your available resources, and critically, your load speed priorities. Often a skillful blend of both techniques yields the best results, accommodating the different behaviors and expectations of mobile versus desktop shoppers. This helps you develop a media content strategy supporting your proposed revenue model and addressing a business problem by understanding the best delivery method.
Okay, for those looking to build actual apps rather than just mobile-friendly websites, cross-platform mobile app development tools are a game changer. These tools simplify the process of creating apps that work across different mobile operating systems without writing completely separate code bases for each. Huge time saver.
Oh, absolutely. Platforms like Flutter and React Native, as Laudon notes, have made cross-platform mobile app development relatively easy and significantly less expensive than building two entirely separate native apps from scratch. This capability means for your e-commerce project, you don't necessarily need to hire separate iOS and Android development teams. That's a significant practical and financial takeaway for you.
Building the app is one thing. Keeping it running smoothly, effectively, that's another. That's why monitoring mobile presence performance is absolutely crucial. Continuous, proactive monitoring is vital for understanding your app's health, ensuring a consistent user experience.
Yeah, New Relic Mobile outlines key metrics essential for this continuous monitoring. For availability, track app launches. And crucially, review crash occurrences. Nothing frustrates a user more than an app constantly crashing, often leads to immediate deletion. Analyze crashes for context, prioritization. For functionality, track individual user interactions. Identify any hard freezes where the app becomes unresponsive. Analyze the speed of each interaction to pinpoint bottlenecks. And for performance, it's about identifying slow interactions with detailed breakdowns. Understand why they're slow. Laudon highlights Duolingo's mobile app success, partly attributed to its intense focus on performance, rigorous A/B testing. This kind of proactive monitoring ensures a high-quality user experience, helps align with that knowledge outcome of understanding major trends in media consumption as they relate to revenue models, because a well-performing app retains users and thus retains revenue.
We've built it, optimized it, made it mobile-friendly. Now it's time to talk about the absolute essential, the fortress around your business, security. Let's move into fortifying the fortress, e-commerce security and performance monitoring. This begins with understanding e-commerce implementations and payment flows from a PCI DSS perspective. Different ways of handling payments online vary significantly in how cardholder data CHD is processed, and that directly dictates your PCI DSS compliance scope and, critically, your merchant risk.
This is a foundational concept for anyone processing payments online, and it's where many businesses, frankly, get into trouble. The PCI Security Standards Council's best practices for securing e-commerce document breaks down various implementations really well. The core insight here for you designing your solutions is this. The more direct control you exert over the payment form and the more cardholder data your servers touch, the higher your PCI DSS responsibility. It's a direct relationship. For example, at one end of the spectrum, you have merchant-managed e-commerce implementations, where you use your own proprietary or commercial shopping cart directly. Here, your systems directly receive and transmit cardholder data. That incurs the highest PCI DSS responsibility. Full stop. Then there are shared management e-commerce implementations. These involve a payment service provider, a PSP, taking on some of the burden. With URL redirects, the customer is literally sent from your site to a secure third-party PSP page to enter their card data. Your PCI scope is significantly reduced, but you're still responsible for the integrity of that redirect mechanism, making sure it's not tampered with. The iframe method embeds a PSP-hosted payment form within your web page. The PSP receives the cardholder data directly, never touching your servers. The merchant may be eligible for a reduced PCI SAQ, a self-assessment questionnaire A. The security relies on something called the same origin policy. Basically, your browser won't let code from one website mess with data from another if they aren't from the same domain, keeps the iframe data safe from your page's scripts. With the direct post method, DPM, your payment form on your site sends cardholder data directly to the PSP, technically bypassing your systems for storage or processing. However, you still control the payment form itself, so your systems remain in scope for protecting that form from malicious changes. Might qualify for SEQAEP. Similarly, a JavaScript form means your page executes PSP JavaScript to dynamically create the payment form. Card data is sent directly to the PSP. Again, because you control the page, extra PCI controls are needed to protect it. Also potentially eligible for SAQ-AEP, the highest risk for merchants in this shared category. That comes with the Application Programming Interface API method.
Your web server receives cardholder data from the customer, processes it even briefly, and then transmits it to the PSP via an API. This puts your systems fully in scope for PCI DSS because you directly handle that sensitive data. And finally, there are wholly outsourced e-commerce solutions or hosted shopping carts. The entire e-commerce system is hosted on the PSP's infrastructure. While this significantly reduces your PCI DSS responsibility, it's never completely removed. Never. Regardless of the model, merchants always retain some level of responsibility for cardholder data protection. Due diligence on your service provider's PCI DSS compliance status is absolutely critical. That's PCI DSS requirement 12.8.5. This helps you recognize key security issues and precisely assess those issues related to your proposed business solution.
Okay, moving beyond the payment flow itself. Encryption and digital certificates. These are fundamental for securing data in transit, right? Protecting sensitive customer data the moment it leaves their browser until it reaches your servers.
Absolutely crucial. PCI DSS requirement 4.1 explicitly mandates strong encryption over public networks. TLS 1.2 transport layer security or higher is now the recommended standard. Replaces older, vulnerable SSL and early TLS protocols. Organizations need a clear mitigation plan if they can't immediately upgrade. When it comes to digital certificates, there are three main types, each offering different levels of trust. Domain-validated DV certificates, lowest cost, only validate domain ownership like responding to an email, often called free SSL but not recommended for e-commerce transactions. Low identity verification. Organization-validated OV certificates. The certificate authority, the CA, vets the actual business behind the domain. Provides good identity validation. Suitable for public-facing websites with less sensitive info. Extended validation, EV certificates. Highest level of authentication. Enhanced vetting by the CA. Typically provide a visual cue in browsers like a green address bar, the organization's name. Indicates strong identity verification. Strongly recommended for sites handling cardholder data, PII, other sensitive data. Much harder for phishers to obtain.
And what's fascinating here is Certificate Transparency, CT. It's a framework pushed by Google where CAs publicly log all issued SSL/TLS certificates. This allows enterprises like yours to monitor these public logs for any unauthorized certificates issued in their name. Adds another crucial layer of security against malicious activity. Pretty neat.
Okay, next, let's address anti-fraud considerations and best practices. Now, while preventing fraud is technically distinct from PCI DSS compliance scope, it's incredibly tightly linked to data security and absolutely crucial for merchant protection and profitability. Fraud indicators can even be symptomatic of compromised systems sometimes, so PSPs often offer various tools, right?
Oh yeah, PSPs offer a whole arsenal of tools to detect suspicious activity. Things like instant merchant notification for immediate alerts on potentially dodgy transactions. Authentication via limited-use tokens to ensure the transaction source is legit. Cryptographic hashes for data verification to ensure data, like shipping info, hasn't been tampered with midstream. Common cardholder verification methods for card-not-present transactions include Address Verification Service, AVS, and CVV2 verification. And a critical point here, CVV2, that 3 or 4-digit security code, it's sensitive authentication data. Must never be stored after authorization, even if encrypted. Never. Other powerful tools include transaction amount volume floors limits, also known as velocity controls. These block or flag transactions outside specific thresholds. Helps prevent carding, where fraudsters test stolen card numbers or other abnormal activity. Brute force trial and error detection identifies repeated attempts with slightly altered information. Geographic verification compares the billing address to the source IP or phone area code, looking for mismatches. IP blacklisting whitelisting blocks known malicious IPs or ensures API transactions only come from trusted systems. HTTP header verification checks the referrer for certain methods. Identity verification against third-party sources like credit files. And proprietary filters using algorithms, heuristic transaction evaluation. PSPs typically use scoring systems, send alerts to merchants for review, or just outright reject clearly fraudulent transactions. All crucial practices for reducing financial risk.
And to truly minimize your PCI DSS scope, prevent costly breaches, there are specific best practices for payment data handling. This is about reducing the surface area for attack, fundamentally.
Tokenization is a prime example. A powerful technique. It replaces sensitive cardholder data with a non-sensitive token after authorization. If your environment is breached, these tokens are useless elsewhere. Significantly reduces your PCI scope for data storage because the actual card number isn't present. Big win. Conversely, prohibited storage is key. Sensitive authentication data, SAD, like the CVV2, cannot, under any circumstances, be stored after authorization. Even encrypted, just don't. For secure transmission, always use post methods for submitting payment forms, not GT. Get variables can be logged or cached in clear text, exposing sensitive data, and critically, avoid third-party content, external images, scripts on your actual payment forms. They can potentially monitor keyboard input, steal cardholder data. That directly helps you recognize key security issues and design solutions that prevent these vulnerabilities.
Okay, with all this complexity and risk, proactive visibility into your system's health is absolutely essential. That brings us to e-commerce performance monitoring in practice. Real-time visibility. New Relic's best practices for monitoring e-commerce performance emphasizes full-stack monitoring. Identify and resolve issues before they impact customers and the business. This means looking at everything, right? From the customer's browser all the way back to your databases.
Exactly. The New Relic approach highlights visibility across the entire technology stack. Include mobile and browser monitoring for the customer-facing front end, synthetics to simulate user journeys, APM application performance monitoring for your core applications, infrastructure monitoring for your servers, and plugins for third-party services. This comprehensive view ensures you can quickly troubleshoot issues degrading the shopping experience, no matter where they originate in your, let's face it, incredibly complex stack.
Let's zero in on web commerce monitoring. For availability, you need to track browser throughput, for instance, a high shopping cart drop-off rate. That can be an early signal of performance issues, setting up availability alerts using synthetics monitors from multiple global locations, rigorously tracking uptime service level agreements, SLAs, all crucial.
Yep. For functionality, validate key transactions, like the browse-to-buy path, the entire checkout process. Use scripted monitors that simulate real users. Also need to effectively triage JavaScript errors, identify them by name, channel, transaction, set up precise functionality and error alerts. And for speed, it's about triaging front-end load times, identify the slowest pages, bottlenecks, optimize front-end code, configure an app tech score that's a really useful metric, basically a single number telling you how satisfied users are with response times, identify any third-party scripts causing delays, set up precise page load speed alerts if your app tech score dips. Immediate red flag. Users are hitting slow pages, directly impacting sales.
And what about the behind-the-scenes work? We need to talk about back-end services monitoring. It's vital to ensure the health of your APIs and microservices. These are the arteries of your e-commerce operations.
Absolutely. Use service maps to visualize dependencies, identify bottlenecks, constantly tune performance, set up dedicated API monitors. For performance, configure your back-end app tech score. Critically, check the performance of all your third-party services. Data vendors, payment processors, inventory systems, triage back-end errors, identify key transactions for heightened monitoring, resolve slow application transactions or database calls, setting up back-end site alerts for critical areas like web server downtime, using prioritized alerts for your most important transactions, configuring deployment markers to quickly detect issues after new releases, all essential for maintaining a stable, high-performing system.
And don't forget the very foundation of everything, underlying infrastructure monitoring. Issues here can bring everything crashing down no matter how perfect your code is.
Right. You must create host not reporting alerts. Know immediately if a server goes offline. Track system resource health and consumption, compute, network, storage. Monitor vital processes. Crucially, monitor configuration changes. They're a leading cause of outages in complex systems. Additionally, monitor vendor integrations like AWS services. Review Docker container health metrics, all critical for overall system stability and performance.
Finally, it's about building processes across your team. The sheer complexity of modern e-commerce stacks demands intelligent alerting, deeper visibility that goes beyond just technical metrics.
Yet intelligent alerting means creating a better signal-to-noise ratio. Use dynamic baselines, severity levels, employ powerful query languages like NRQL, New Relic Query Language, for highly targeted alerts. Route issues directly to the accountable teams. Integrate these alerts into ChatOps platforms like Slack or HipChat for rapid response. For deeper visibility, use custom events, metrics, attributes like user channel, product value, deployment hit. Pivot your performance info around your specific business needs, customer behavior, the ultimate goal. A customer-centric view. Frame performance around individual customers using a user attribute. Maybe even stack rank VIP customers with live performance dashboards. This holistic approach truly helps you understand the direct impact of technology on the larger business, drives continuous improvement. That's a key skill outcome for developing an appropriate e-business marketing strategy.
Wow, what an incredible journey we've just taken. I mean, we've covered the entire landscape of building an e-commerce presence. From laying down that initial vision, pinpointing your target audience, doing a thorough self-assessment, to choosing the right platforms and hardware, embracing agile development, and then optimizing for mobile, which is huge. We've also explored enhancing the user experience through thoughtful design and powerful SEO. And most critically, fortifying your entire operation with robust security measures and that vital real-time performance monitoring. You've really seen how e-commerce is less about magic and much more about meticulous engineering and strategic decision-making at every single layer.
Exactly. What becomes clear through all of this is that a truly successful e-commerce presence is far from a magic trick. It really isn't. It's about meticulous engineering, strategic decision-making at every single layer, from the very first idea to the ongoing maintenance and security protocols. Each decision, each system implemented contributes to that seamless experience we all expect as users, and that you will strive to create as future e-business leaders.
So, the next time you marvel at a smooth online shopping experience, that quick load, the easy checkout, the perfectly personalized recommendation you'll understand, it didn't just appear. It was meticulously engineered bit by decision, by talented individuals who understood the intricate systems humming away behind the screen.
And that profound understanding. That's exactly what we hope you, our BCIS 5379 students, take away from this deep dive. Your ability to analyze, design, and secure these complex systems. That will be your greatest asset in the dynamic world of e-business. It truly will.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Your curiosity is truly your greatest asset in navigating the complex, always evolving world of e-business. If today's deep dive sparked your interest or offered valuable insights, please consider leaving a review or maybe share it with a colleague. And remember, you'll find links to all the resources we discussed right down there in the description. Definitely check those out.
As you embark on your own e-commerce projects, maybe consider this question. What strategic problem will you solve with the systems you build?
Every transaction, every connection, every innovation, it all starts with someone who understands the system behind the screen. Until next time, stay curious, stay strategic, and keep turning complexity into opportunity.